In a vast galaxy where powerful alien races ruled, humans lived on a small blue planet called Earth. Most alien civilizations saw humans as weak and primitive. They laughed at the idea of humans being anything but inferior. The Galactic Council, made up of the strongest alien leaders, often mocked humanity. They believed that taking over Earth would be an easy victory. One day, a human ambassador named Sarah was invited to a grand meeting of the Galactic Council. She was excited but nervous. This was her chance to show the aliens that humans were not as weak as they thought. She spent weeks preparing her speech, hoping to change their minds. As Sarah entered the large chamber filled with alien leaders, she felt small. The room was full of towering beings with bright colors and strange features. They whispered and pointed at her, their eyes filled with amusement. Sarah took a deep breath, reminding herself of her mission. She believed that empathy was humanity's greatest strength. If she could connect with them on an emotional level, maybe they would see humans differently. When Sarah began her speech, she spoke about human culture and history. She shared stories of resilience and compassion, highlighting how humans had overcome great challenges. She spoke of kindness, friendship, and the bonds that held people together. But the alien leaders were not impressed. They continued to smirk and whisper among themselves, not taking her seriously. Then a powerful alien named Lord Zalor stood up. He was known for his ruthless demeanor and strong military tactics. With a booming voice, he addressed the council. "Why should we listen to a weak species that cannot even conquer its own planet? We could easily crush them." The room erupted in laughter. Sarah felt a wave of disappointment wash over her. She knew this was a critical moment. If she did not make them see the value of humanity, Earth could be in danger. She raised her hand for silence, determined to stand her ground. "We may not have your strength, but we have something powerful, empathy. We understand each other's feelings, and that makes us stronger in ways you may not realize." The laughter faded, replaced by curious looks. Sarah continued, "Empathy has driven humanity to create art, music, and to build strong communities. When we connect with others, we find solutions that violence cannot. I believe that empathy can bridge our differences." Some of the council members exchanged glances, clearly interested in her words. But Lord Zalor was not convinced. "Empathy is a weakness. It makes you vulnerable." "What use is that in battle?" he challenged. Sarah took a moment to gather her thoughts. She knew she needed to make a powerful point. Empathy is not weakness. It is a tool for understanding and peace. When we feel for one another, we can find common ground. This is not just about fighting, it's about building relationships. The council was quiet. Sarah could see the wheels turning in their minds. They were not used to thinking this way. She pressed on. "Imagine a galaxy where different species can cooperate instead of fight. A place where we learn from each other and grow together. That is the future I see." Just as she finished, an alien named Fira, who was known for her wisdom, raised her hand. "Perhaps there is truth in what the ambassador says. We have relied on strength for too long. Maybe we should consider a different path." This was a breakthrough. Sarah felt a spark of hope. Could she truly change their minds? But before she could respond, Lord Zalor shot her a fierce glare. "You may have spoken well, but it changes nothing. We will crush your planet and take what we want." As the meeting ended, Sarah left the chamber with a heavy heart. She knew the danger was far from over. The council members were still divided, and Lord Zalor's threats lingered in the air. But she also felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, her message had reached some of them. She had planted a seed of doubt about their beliefs, and now it was time to nurture it. Back on Earth, Sarah prepared for the challenges ahead. She knew the aliens would not back down easily, but she was ready to fight for her planet, using empathy as her greatest weapon. She believed that one day they would see humanity for what it truly was, strong, resilient, and worthy of respect. With renewed determination, Sarah vowed to return to the council and show them that being human was not a weakness, it was a strength. After the meeting with the Galactic Council, Sarah felt a mix of hope and worry. While some council members seemed interested in her ideas about empathy, others, especially Lord Zalor, remained hostile. She knew that the threat of invasion was real and that time was running out. To prove that humans were strong, Sarah decided to organize a grand festival on Earth, inviting the council to experience humanity's culture and values firsthand. The festival was named Unity Day. Sarah and her team worked tirelessly to prepare. They decorated the area with colorful lights and set up booths that showcased human art, music, and food. They wanted the aliens to see that humans had much to offer. The festival would be a way to connect through shared experiences, emphasizing empathy. As the day of the festival approached, Sarah felt anxious. She was excited to share humanity's beauty, but also scared that the council might still see them as weak. The day finally arrived, and visitors began to arrive from across the galaxy. Alien dignitaries and council members filled the festival grounds, their faces a mix of curiosity and skepticism. As the festival began, Sarah welcomed the guests. She introduced them to different booths showcasing human traditions. There was a booth where people painted, a music stage where a band played, and a food area filled with delicious dishes from various cultures. Sarah was determined to show that humans could create beauty and joy, even amidst the fear of an impending attack. But just as the festival was gaining momentum, chaos erupted. A rival alien faction led by a fierce warlord named Varnock saw the gathering as an opportunity to attack. They believed the festival was a sign of weakness, a chance to crush humanity before they could unite. Without warning, Varnock's forces descended upon the festival, causing panic. Sarah's heart raced as she saw the fear in everyone's eyes. She knew she had to act quickly. "Everyone, stay calm!" she shouted, trying to regain control. The aliens were confused, unsure of what to do. Some started to flee, while others stood frozen in fear. In the midst of the chaos, Sarah spotted a small alien child crying near a food stand. The child was alone, clearly separated from their family. Sarah rushed over, her heart aching at the sight. "Hey there," she said gently, kneeling down to the child's level. "It's okay. You're safe with me?" The child looked up, their big eyes filled with tears. "I'm scared. I want my mom!" they cried. Sarah felt a surge of compassion. Instead of focusing on the danger around them, she wrapped her arms around the child. "I understand. It's really scary right now, but we will find your mom together." As she comforted the child, something incredible happened. Other festival goers, seeing Sarah's kindness, began to gather around. They started to help each other, forming small groups to check on their friends and loved ones. The sense of community began to rise amidst the chaos. Sarah's empathy created a ripple effect. Alien dignitaries who had come to mock humanity now saw something different. They witnessed the strength in Sarah's actions. Even the council members who had doubted her felt a change in their hearts. They realized that humans could unite and support each other in the face of fear. Just then, Lord Zaylor stepped forward, his expression fierce. "We cannot allow this festival to become a refuge for weakness," he shouted. But another council member, Fira, stepped up beside Sarah, her eyes determined. "Strength is not only in power, but in compassion. We must protect these beings." As Varnock's forces continued to threaten, Sarah took a deep breath. "We will not fight with weapons. We will fight with our hearts. Together we can stand against this invasion," she declared. The crowd erupted in cheers, and a newfound courage filled the air. With the united force of humans and some sympathetic aliens, they stood together against Varnock's troops. Instead of violence, they focused on understanding. They communicated with the invaders, expressing their desire for peace. Slowly, the tide began to turn. As the chaos began to settle, Sarah felt a wave of hope wash over her. The festival had turned into a powerful demonstration of humanity's strength. In that moment, she knew that empathy could be a weapon stronger than any blaster. And together, they would show the galaxy that they were not weak, but a force to be reckoned with. After the chaos of the festival, a new sense of unity filled the air. Sarah, the human ambassador, stood among a diverse group of aliens, all of whom had come together to protect one another during the attack. The festival had become more than just a celebration, it was a turning point. In the days that followed, the Galactic Council met again. Sarah was determined to build on the momentum from Unity Day. She knew that this was her chance to change minds and hearts. Many council members had witnessed the strength of empathy and community, and she hoped to harness that energy. As the meeting began, Sarah addressed the council with confidence. "We have seen what happens when we let fear control us. Together we stood strong against an enemy who underestimated our bond," she said, her voice steady. "We must continue to build bridges between our species, not walls." Lord Zalor, who had once ridiculed humans, looked serious as he listened. But Sarah could see that he still had doubts. "What good is empathy in the face of war?" he challenged. "We need strength, not feelings." Sarah understood his perspective but wanted to show him a different way. Strength can come from understanding, too. Empathy is not a weakness. It is a way to connect and resolve conflicts without bloodshed, she replied. Some council members began to nod, intrigued by her words. Encouraged, Sarah proposed a plan. Let's create an interspecies exchange program where aliens and humans can spend time together. They will learn from one another, share their cultures, and build friendships. The idea sparked a heated discussion. Some members were skeptical. Why should we waste time on this? Our people need to be prepared for war, argued a gruff alien named Korak. But others were more open-minded. Fira, the wise council member who had stood beside Sarah at the festival, spoke up. This could be a great opportunity for peace. If we understand each other better, we can find common ground. Slowly, the council members started to see the potential in Sarah's plan. They agreed to pilot the program, starting with a small group of humans and aliens working together. The meeting ended with a sense of hope, and Sarah felt a surge of excitement. She was eager to see what would happen next. Weeks passed, and the exchange program began. The first group included 5 humans and 5 aliens from different races. They were nervous but hopeful. Sarah believed this was a crucial step toward building lasting relationships. As they gathered for the first time, Sarah introduced the humans to their alien counterparts. You all have unique experiences and stories to share, she said. Let's listen and learn from each other. The first day was challenging. The aliens had different customs and languages, which created misunderstandings. The humans felt awkward, and some aliens appeared disinterested. But Sarah encouraged them to keep trying. Let's ask questions and be curious, she urged. By the end of the week, things began to change. The humans and aliens started to share meals together, introducing each other to their favorite dishes. Laughter echoed as they tried new foods, each reaction sparking conversations. The humans learned to appreciate the sweetness of alien fruits, while the aliens enjoyed the spiciness of human cuisine. As the program continued, Sarah noticed a shift. They began to share stories of their lives, struggles, and dreams. A human named Tom spoke about his family and how they had fought for a better future. An alien named Lyra shared tales of her home planet and its rich history. With each story, barriers began to fall. The differences that once seemed so vast became opportunities for connection. The humans learned that the aliens had faced their own hardships, and the aliens saw the strength in humanity's resilience. One day, during a group activity, they had to work together to solve a problem. They faced a challenge where they needed to build a small shelter using limited materials. The group quickly realized that their different skills complemented each other. The humans had creativity and resourcefulness, while the aliens brought knowledge of construction techniques from their advanced technology. As they completed the shelter, cheers erupted. They had accomplished something together, proving that collaboration could lead to success. Sarah felt a wave of pride. She knew this was just the beginning. The bonds formed during this exchange program began to grow strong. They started to view each other as allies rather than enemies. With each interaction, empathy turned into understanding, and understanding turned into friendship. Sarah understood that building bridges took time, but she felt hopeful. The galaxy was vast and filled with differences, but she believed that empathy could unite them all. Together, they would show the Galactic Council that strength lay not only in power but in the connections they created. And in that connection, a new future awaited. The exchange program had flourished, and the bond between humans and aliens grew stronger each day. Sarah was pleased to see how empathy transformed mistrust into friendship. But deep down, she knew that the peace they had built was still fragile. The threat from Varnock and his forces loomed larger than ever. As news spread about the success of the program, Varnock became furious. He believed the unity between humans and aliens weakened his power. Varnock sent a message to the Galactic Council, demanding they end the exchange program immediately. Empathy is a disease, he declared. It will only lead to our downfall. Fira, who had become a close ally to Sarah, took the news seriously. We must stand together against Varnock, she warned. He won't stop until he destroys what we've built. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. She understood that this was not just a battle for unity, it was a battle for survival. In a tense meeting of the Galactic Council, tensions ran high. Sarah stood before the council, ready to defend the program. We have seen the power of connection, she urged. The exchange has helped us understand each other better. We cannot let Varnok's hatred win. Lord Zaylor, once a critic, now understood the value of what they had created. If we allow Varnok to destroy our unity, we will be fighting amongst ourselves, he warned. We must not let fear dictate our actions. Despite this, some council members were still hesitant. They feared Varnok's wrath. What if we provoke him? One worried member asked. Sarah stepped forward, her heart racing. We cannot back down. We must show Varnok that we are strong together. If we give in to his threats, we will lose everything we have fought for. As the debate raged on, Varnok's forces began to mobilize. Reports came in that they were gathering just outside the council's main station. The time for words was over. Action was needed. The council quickly agreed to send a delegation to confront Varnok and negotiate peace, but Sarah knew they would have to be firm. The day of the showdown arrived. Sarah and a small group of council members, including Fira and Lord Zaylor, set out to meet Varnok. They arrived at a large space station filled with his troops, an imposing sight. The atmosphere was tense, and Sarah felt a knot in her stomach. Varnok awaited them in a grand chamber, surrounded by his loyal followers. His eyes glinted with anger as he surveyed the group. You dare come here to negotiate? He sneered. You think your empathy will protect you from my might? Sarah took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. We are not here to fight, Varnok. We are here to seek peace, she replied, her voice strong. You believe that power is the only way to rule, but true strength lies in unity. Varnok laughed, a cold, harsh sound. Unity? You are weak. You think sharing stories and meals will save you from me? His voice echoed through the chamber, and his followers cheered, feeding off his aggression. But Sarah refused to back down. We have proven that when we come together, we are stronger. We will not let your fear control us, she declared. You will find that humans and our allies will stand united against your tyranny. The tension in the room thickened, and Varnok's face twisted with fury. You think you can change my mind? I will destroy your little alliance! He raised his hand, signaling his troops to prepare for battle. At that moment, Fira stepped forward. Varnok, listen! This isn't just about you and us. This is about all our people. If you attack, many will suffer. Is that what you want? Her voice rang with sincerity, and for a moment it seemed to reach him. Varnok hesitated, uncertainty flashing in his eyes. The room fell silent, and Sarah seized the opportunity. Imagine a galaxy where we work together instead of fighting, where our children can live in peace. You have the power to make that choice. Slowly, the crowd began to murmur. Even some of Varnok's own followers looked unsure. Sensing a shift, Varnok's face hardened. You think you can sway me with words? I will not be made a fool. Before he could finish, the door burst open, and his soldiers rushed in, ready for a fight. Chaos erupted as both sides prepared for battle. But then something unexpected happened. Sarah, Fira, and Lord Zaylor stood together, united. Stop! Sarah shouted. This is not the way. Let us show you what true strength looks like. She took a step forward, extending her hand toward Varnok. The room froze, tension thick in the air. Join us instead of fighting. Let us show the galaxy that we can choose peace. Varnok's expression shifted from anger to confusion. For the first time, he seemed to consider the possibility of change. Would he take the path of fear and destruction, or would he dare to embrace a new way forward? The choice hung in the balance, and the fate of their worlds rested on this moment. In the heart of the chaotic chamber, tension hung thick in the air as Sarah extended her hand toward Varnok. The room fell silent, all eyes fixed on the alien leader. Varnok's expression was a mix of confusion and anger. He had always relied on power and fear to maintain control, but now he faced a choice that could alter the fate of many. Varnok hesitated, and in that moment of stillness, Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. We can build something better together, she urged, her voice steady. Imagine a galaxy united, where our children can grow up without fear of war. The murmurs in the room grew louder as some of Varnok's followers began to look at each other, their eyes reflecting uncertainty. Lord Zaylor stepped forward beside Sarah, his presence commanding. True strength lies in unity, Varnok. We can show the galaxy that empathy is more powerful than violence. Varnok's brow furrowed as he struggled to process the words. You think I can just abandon my power and embrace your way? You are naive! His voice boomed, but the doubt in his eyes was clear. Not abandoning, Fira chimed in, building upon it. You can lead us into a new era, one where strength comes from cooperation rather than domination. Her tone was gentle but firm, and for the first time it seemed to resonate with him. A flicker of realization crossed Varnock's face. The fear he had instilled in others had blinded him to the power of connection. "What do you propose?" he finally asked, his voice calmer. Sarah seized the moment. "Let's hold a summit. All species, united, working together. We can create a council that values empathy and understanding. We can ensure that no one feels alone in their struggle. You could be part of this, leading the way toward a brighter future." Varnock's gaze softened, and he looked around the room. His followers were watching him closely, and he realized that he had a choice to make, not just for himself, but for his people and others across the galaxy. After a long pause, Varnock took a deep breath. "Very well, I will give this a chance," he said, though his voice still held a hint of skepticism. "But I will not be swayed easily. You must prove that this unity can bring real change." Cheers erupted from Sarah's group, and relief flooded through her. They had taken the first step toward a new era. The tension that had once defined their interactions began to dissipate, replaced by the hope of what lay ahead. Over the following weeks, the Galactic Council organized the first-ever summit. Representatives from various species, including humans and Varnock's people, gathered in a grand hall designed to foster unity. Banners of different colors and symbols adorned the walls, creating a vibrant atmosphere. Sarah was nervous but excited. She stood at the front, ready to address the assembly. "Welcome, everyone. Today marks a new beginning," she said, her voice filled with passion. "Together we can create a future based on empathy and understanding. We can learn from each other's strengths and grow as a united galaxy." As she spoke, she noticed Varnock seated among the council members. His presence was a powerful reminder of the change that had taken place. The summit was a chance to redefine their relationships, and Sarah was determined to make it work. The discussions began, and as representatives shared their experiences, the atmosphere shifted. Stories of hardship, joy, and resilience flowed freely. They learned about each other's cultures and the challenges they faced. It was a moment of true connection. Varnock, who had once been so rigid in his beliefs, began to open up. He shared the struggles of his people and how fear had driven them to isolation. The honesty in his voice surprised many, including Sarah. It was a step toward healing and understanding. As the days went on, the summit created bonds that would last. The delegates agreed to form alliances, share resources, and support each other. They established a new council that would prioritize peace and collaboration, and Varnock took on a leadership role, a testament to his transformation. As the summit concluded, Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment. The path had been long and filled with challenges, but they had created something special, a foundation for a new era. The room buzzed with excitement as delegates exchanged contact information and made plans for future collaborations. Returning to her ship, Sarah looked at the stars outside. They had overcome hatred and fear, proving that empathy could indeed be a powerful weapon. She thought of all the friendships forged during the summit, knowing that each connection would strengthen their alliance. The galaxy was still vast, with many challenges ahead, but now they faced those challenges together. Sarah felt a surge of hope, knowing that they had the power to shape their destiny. With empathy as their guide, a new era had begun, one filled with promise and the potential for greatness.